Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Really excited to have you here. If you're new, make sure to subscribe down below and you can follow me on my social media. I will leave it in the info bar. But as you can see by the title, today's video is going to be some book recommendations. So it is currently like almost summertime, sitting by the pool, going to the beach, and I don't know about you guys, but I love having like a good book to read when I'm like at the pool or the beach. So perfect time of the year, I feel like, just to kind of like share some of my favorites. I've recently gotten back into reading and just have a couple of really good books I want to share with you guys. I'm not going to go in any particular order, but I'm just so happening to start with, I think, one of my favorite reads in like the longest time ever. This is a really great book for those of you who like have been so against reading or like having a hard time picking it back up. This is just one of those books that is so hard to put down and is one of those books that you just finish in like 1 or 2 sittings. And I am not that kind of person. I am the person that will like be like waiting anxiously to get to the end of a chapter to be able to like put the book down. But this is one of those books, again, that you just want to know what's going to happen, so you keep going. And this is like a very kind of popular book at the moment. I feel like it's getting a lot of buzz, and for good reason. It's called Verity by Colleen Hoover. I would consider this a like thriller, mystery, fictional read. It's one of those, again, that just really hard to put down. Colleen Hoover is one of those writers that just so easy to read. It's not complicated or like confusing, or you feel like you need to like reread a chapter. Just very straight to the point. The book just flows so well too, and it gets you from like the first page. Like you're just like, whoa, what's going on? So really good. I'll be honest, this is one of the only books I've read that I've been scared. Like I remember after finishing it being like genuinely scared to go to sleep, like I had to watch Friends or something. But so good. Definitely like a really good summer read by the pool or the beach. The theme of this video, if that's what you're into, and if you've like been having a hard time picking up reading again, this is a really good one to start with. And I actually haven't read any other Colleen Hoover books yet, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Like this, okay, so this next book was actually the first book that kind of like got me back into reading, believe it or not. I got this at Target, like spur of the moment, didn't do any research, just saw it and was interested. So this is called The Wife Between Us. This one's by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekanen. So this one has to do with like a jealous ex-wife. Her ex-husband is like dating another girl and she's jealous, and she used to have this like picture perfect life essentially. You're made to think, and then things start to unravel and you realize like not everything is what it appears, kind of a book. It definitely has like a nice, what would you call it, like twist at the end, which I didn't see coming at all. So it was definitely like just a really good read. I will say this one takes a little bit longer to like pick up, and I feel like the character development isn't as great as Verity. So if you're like debating which one to start with, would highly recommend Verity first to get you into reading. But this one is still like a really good, just easy read by the beach or pool. It has like a nice twist at the end. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one, so definitely check this out. Okay, and then I have another fictional read before I get into like non-fictional, more like self-help, what would you call it, like self-motivating books. This one is such a good one that really just humbles you. It's one of those like tearjerker books, super easy read, very short too. Like you could definitely finish this in 1 sitting if you needed to. It's called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. Which I'm pretty sure he has like a TED Talk video or something, which is how most people know about him. But anyway, I always recommended this book, and like it's one of those books that just changes your life personally. So I shouldn't have said fictional read, because it's actually not fictional. It is nonfiction, so it is true. It's based on his true real life story. He kind of is sharing all his wisdom and the things he's taken away from life. He is a professor at, or he was, I should say, a professor. He did pass away at Carnegie Mellon. I don't even know how to say that, but really good school, really smart guy. He basically just puts together this lecture, which I think you can watch the video, but I think this is like the book he wrote that goes along with it. And he just talks about like what he took away from life, what's most important. And it's basically his like message to his children. He was diagnosed with, I think, cancer, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, I read this book a while ago. Yeah, terminal cancer. And so this is his way of kind of like leaving something for his kids. And it's just one of those books that like humbles you, you cry, you take a lot away from it, and really easy to read. So highly recommend this if you're looking for just like a light, easy read. I shouldn't say light, because it will definitely evoke some emotion, but just really good. It just kind of gives you some perspective on life. And if you're kind of at a stage like me where, you know, you just finished college and you're starting a new job, and I had to move, I feel very out of place and just kind of like confused with life, and this is one of those books that just kind of like puts things back into perspective, I feel like. So really good, easy read. Next up we have The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them. So again, another like non-fictional motivational book. This one is by Meg J, and this is just like basically a book about what the title says, like why your 20s are so important, and like why it's important to like develop certain habits and like start things earlier in your life and not wait till your 30s or your 40s to start things, just to set yourself up for a better life. And it brings about a lot of good points that are things that I would never think of. I think one of the first things she talks about is like the importance of when you're first, you know, looking for a job after college, why it's so important to like look for a job where you're going to gain the most capital from. And she doesn't mean like monetary capital, and for some people that might be the case, but she means like just information capital, like in the sense that like if you don't like your job, you're gaining so much from that job that you can take that information or what you learned or those skills that you acquired and bring them to another company or another opportunity. And so she just talks about a lot of like little things like that maybe like you overlook because we're so young. We think, oh, we have all this time, but it's so important to like utilize your 20s to, you know, get ahead in certain aspects of your life. That way you just sets yourself up for a more happy, successful life later on. So really enjoyed that. Again, really easy read. If that's something like you're into, I would highly recommend it. Okay, I've got two more for you guys. So this one I read, geez, maybe like 5 years ago. I think I was still in high school when I found this one. This is The Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz. I personally heard about this book so many times on like different podcasts, and I don't know, like I feel like just so many people have talked about it, and for good reason. Like this book is basically like how you should live your life. It's these 5 agreements that you are supposed to like make with yourself, and it just kind of sets you up for a more happy, successful, just well-rounded life. And so the 5 different things are: 1, to be impeccable with your word; 2, don't take anything personally; 3, don't make assumptions; 4, always do your best; and 5, be skeptical but learn to listen. And these are by no means like easy things to follow. You find yourself kind of in situations where you don't even realize you're doing some of these things a lot of the times. But if you really think about it and you read this book, you realize like, wow, if I actually put all these things into action, like I will have such a better quality of life for myself. And this is one of those books that I reread almost every year because you always aim for this, and it's so much harder than you think, but I really enjoyed this. It's a really easy read, really good like pool beachside read as well. All right, and then the last book I have is actually one I'm still currently reading, but I wanted to recommend it because I'm obsessed so far. This author, her name is Brené Brown, and the book is called Dare to Lead. So I first heard about Brené Brown through a TED Talk I was watching. I was like obsessed with TED Talks at one point. I still love them. I still watch them from time to time, but there was like this one point where I was in college and I would literally just like sit in class and watch TED Talks. I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have been like listening to a lecture, but I would just sit and watch TED Talks. And I found Brené Brown through a TED Talk. It was an amazing one. I highly recommend you go look her up. It was a really good TED Talk. Anyway, I wound up like buying her book right away that she was selling through a TED Talk. It's called Daring Greatly. If you really enjoy the TED Talk, highly recommend Daring Greatly as well. I think it's one of her first books she ever wrote, and it's more of like a broad, just kind of like good for everybody kind of information. This one that I wanted to recommend if you're someone who's in a similar position or field to me, and if not, it's still just a really important, I feel like there's still just really important life lessons in here for everyone. And I personally work in management, manage a lot of people in my job, and I think it's really important just to like better myself and make myself more knowledgeable about how to become a better leader and how to, you know, gain the buy-in from my employees and have, you know, more proactive conversations and just kind of like be a better listener and communicate more effectively. Like this book kind of ties all those things together, and I've been really enjoying it. I'm almost done. So if you are in management, or if you are, you know, I don't know, deal with people a lot in your job, this is a really good read, and it's something that I feel like is you know, not only like good for myself, but good for what I do for work. And so I really have been enjoying this one. All right, guys, those are all the book recommendations I have at the moment. I definitely want to film book recommendations more often. Like I said, I've recently gotten back into reading. I think it's really fun to like share some of my favorite finds. I like watching these videos here on YouTube. It's a good way for me to find new reads. And so if you have any book recommendations that you're currently loving, be sure to leave them down below. More specifically, if you have any Colleen Hoover recommendations, let me know. I definitely want to get another one of her books. Verity is just one of my all-time favorite books at the moment. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.